Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero, and your other host Tish Ram will be calling in shortly. So that is that. There's a lot going on here with Those Guys right now. A lot of different stuff that we're ended up doing today. So I am going to be very honest with you guys. I made the show late, and Tish Ram does not know that, and for some reason, he has not called in again. So he's just kind of waiting around. And he's just here. So Matt is currently stalling, and I'm going to sing to you some Spanish folk songs. No, I do not know Spanish as well as I should as Hispanic. But what I can tell you is that today we're going to be doing Steven Universe Season 3, Episodes 4, 5, and 6. So there's that. Also, while stalling, I'm just going to say that these 3 episodes, while they were a lot of fun, and while they definitely expanded upon the Steven Universe, damn it, I hate that, Steven Universe, I do think that there was just something, I guess, different about them. I don't want to say off, because it wasn't off, but compared to the last 3, I think, and even the 5 before it, because we've been doing a lot of Steven Universe shows recently, it just doesn't feel as big, I guess, as grand, right? Because we've had a lot recently, a lot of really big time feel Steven Universe episodes, and we had these 3, and they weren't bad at all. They were just, especially, having the first episode, episode 4, lead into episode 5 that way was brilliant. But I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of these 3, I think, which is sad to say, because it's not like I dislike them. It's just that I think after seeing what we've seen, they just feel a little bit different. Now, here he is. Hello, Satish Ram.
Hey, good evening. How are you doing tonight?
Yes, I mentioned to everyone I did make the show late, so that's on me. But you kind of didn't call in again.
I actually called 6 times.
No, you called in. No, let me explain. I made the show literally a minute before.
Oh, no, I know. I got you. I called 6 times in the span of the 3 minutes, and I missed the last one, I assume, by about 5 seconds, knowing my luck. So
yes,
we're
no,
good.
because I'm not saying you didn't call, because it's you.
No,
So obviously,
I know.
really, we're like, oh, good God. But then I actually called in, and then it was like, your show is going to begin in like 10 seconds. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm
is
not
he going to call in by accident again? Like, is he going to? No? Okay, let me get in contact with him.
I was standing by the phone like, hey, what's going on? Or is he asleep? Are we doing this? But we're doing this.
No, we've made so many. I've made so many episodes recently that my brain had told me that I had already made the episode.
It's okay.
And I had not.
We're here.
And and I mentioned earlier. First off, I was claiming I was going to start singing Spanish folk songs. That clearly wasn't the case. And also, I was going to say that we were doing a lot here recently. I mean, we have our Halloween specials. Those guys play Halloween specials. That's a lot of fun. And by the time this is out, we'll be having our Animal Crossing mini-series episodes, where I will be going around collecting candy and being a little bit more wacky and zany than usual. And we'll see how that works overall. So it'll be a lot of fun. At least that should be out. And if not, well, I've teased it for you. And you can find that on our Those Guys Play YouTube channel by searching up Those Guys Play on YouTube. But anyway, Satish, so here we are talking about episodes 4, 5, and 6, Season 3, Steven Universe. How do you feel about these? I want to hear your opinion.
Well, I mean, Hit the Diamond is objectively one of the best episodes the show has ever created, if only because it's
That's
a baseball
just because
episode.
Of football. Yeah, exactly. It's only because it's football related. That's the only reason why.
That's objectively, making it one of the better episodes. And
that's literally your bias. Literally only your bias. You know why it was fun for me though? For you, it's like, oh, it's fun because it's baseball. For me, it was fun because it was baseball anime filler.
Yeah, it was baseball anime trash, and that was lovely. That was exactly what I needed. And they made
also,
2 baseball references in 2 episodes. The Hit the Diamond being like obvious, but there was a baseball reference in Stephen Floats that I'll talk about that hurts my feelings.
Mhm. Now, what I want to bring up to you is not just anime, by the way. It's something that is just like a lot of Japanese TV shows will have that standard filler episode. I mean, you and I watched Gosei Sentai Dairanger, a tokusatsu series that we really enjoy, Sentai being Japanese. No, you remember that episode, don't you?
But that's why I'm laughing, because there was a baseball episode there. And it also takes me back to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, where there was a baseball moment there. And I feel like people underestimate how much Japan likes baseball, which is funny, because, of course, Steven Universe not being, Japanese. But Yu-Gi-Oh! GX,
yes.
Baseball filler happens a lot, from what I've been told.
Baseball and, quote-unquote, soccer, football, happens a lot.
Digimon and Davis, but go on.
Right, of course. But anywho, so I don't know how to feel about these 3 episodes. I was saying that before you got on the air, because I don't hate them. But with what we've had before it, especially the first 3 of the season 3, they just feel different. They're a lot more slower. They're definitely slower, and they're setting things up. Especially, I mean, you're setting up this relationship with Lapis and with Peridot, and you're actually, again, as we say always, you're getting shit done. You're not keeping this going for another 6 months or 16 episodes or something. You're actually, getting this done. And also, you're showing more Steven's powers, and he's learning to control them. So they are plot relevant. It's just that compared to what and of course, Hit the Diamond, you did see the rubies, but the rubies left. And apparently just are like, yeah, sure, Neptune, whatever. And it was kind of funny because I'm happy that Amethyst got to say what was on all of our minds. Just, man, rubies are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, not only the Neptune stuff, but of course the classic in the beginning of the episode. I thought there were supposed to be 5 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're good. And I was like, fucking God.
I knew they were going to do that. The second that it said, we're supposed to be 5 of us, I'm like, the Ruby's going to count the 5 on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And although apparently they can learn, because at the end it's like, wait, there's 4. I'm the 5th.
Yeah, I felt like a slap in the face, though. It's like convenient anime filler joke, you betcha.
But it was fun. It was fun, yes. But of course, it's weird because it then makes you think, why would the Homeworld send 5 stupid rubies, or 5 dumb rubies? It's like you couldn't bring anyone else to the planet. I know it's just a recovery mission, but my God.
What I think is significant about that, but go on and then I'll talk.
I was saying, very interesting that they're not coming to destroy Peridot. I'm not saying that she was as big as she said she was, right, in any way. Also leader of the Crystal Gems, apparently, new leader. But it was interesting to me because in my head it's like, look, Yellow Diamond is so, such a big leader that, if you shit on her, she's going to want to destroy you. So why would she not, I don't know, maybe they should remember, right, Crystal Gems are here. I know they're wanting Jasper to come back, but, Crystal Gems exist on this planet. We've had a war here. So it's very strange to me that they're just oh, well, whatever, Peridot's there. I know that, you might say, well, Matt, it's an inconvenience, but, there's the cluster and there's things that didn't go right there. Again, it was a failed mission. So, is Homeworld both vicious and at the same time, not forgiving, but you know what I mean? It's just very strange to me because Homeworld seems more.
I think it's an arrogance.
No. Yeah, I guess so. They're so big and Earth is so small that they don't care anymore. But I don't know. Maybe it's because
Peridot is so insignificant and the cluster is so far along that she should just. It doesn't matter. She really doesn't matter.
Oh, but it's but the cluster is the failed mission though, or was the failed mission just her and Jasper in general?
Yep.
Oh, so they think the cluster is just fine and going along schedule.
Because remember, the conversation that Yellow Diamond had with Peridot wasn't, oh, the cluster is failing. It was, I just want my cluster and get the hell out. So to Yellow Diamond's knowledge, the cluster is fine, and there's no way anyone could fucking stop the cluster, because if you look at Peridot being a very brilliant gem, right? Peridot was working under the presumption there was basically no way to stop the cluster once it got started. And
Right.
I assume that that's the homeworld mentality, that, oh, it's going to start to destroy the Earth and we're fine. But you guys were supposed to check on it, and you lost Jasper, and you're not really doing anything now, and you can't get back, so screw you, basically.
Okay.
I
Fair
think
point.
it's also a bit of disrespect, because you could have sent a rescue for Peridot, but the idea is like, you know what? You called me a clod, screw you. We're sending a rescue for Jasper, but not you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because for me, it's always a, I come from a very Dragon Ball Z mentality. All of you guys know that, right? So for me, it comes off as, oh, aliens have come down to the planet. They're going to fucking kill you. It's Frieza, motherfucker. That's my mentality. So, not that I would assume Yellow Diamond would have been in the fucking troop with the rubies, but when you see, oh no, the alien ship has landed, the Saiyan space pod has landed, you feel as if, we already got our Vegeta and Nappa, right, in both Peridot and Jasper. We already got the two. So who are we getting next? And, if you remember, after Vegeta and Nappa, the next pod to arrive on Earth, more of a larger ship, really, was Frieza's ship. And it was Frieza and King Cold. So in my head, it's just like, oh, God, they sent people there? They're big deals. And it was like, oh, 5 rubies. Oh, it's just a simple, recovery mission. Oh, they all think that everything's fine. There's no need to even think about, Peridot. It was interesting. Kind of you know what I mean? Things went in a different direction. I mean, they may change in the future because, again, I'm behind. I don't know. But I mean, as of right now, I assumed that the next time we'd see aliens, it would be against Peridot in some way or another. So it's very interesting, that kind of arrogance. Because, again, Frieza very arrogant as well, but also very much I fucking hate you, right? You said something bad about me. I will come to your planet, destroy you, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's different kinds of arrogance, is my point.
Yeah,
but,
it definitely, it's arrogance, disrespect. It's just the idea of, how insignificant you are, basically, to me. And I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So, and that's, discussing little bits of, oh, my God, I'm sitting here thinking about Hit the Diamond, and I just cannot believe that we had Ruby and Sapphire flirting. That was beautiful.
Pretty realistic.
You know what I liked, though? I liked how realistic the flirting was, though. How cute and simple it was. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I've done that and it's worked, but I've done that before. You know what I mean? It's nothing, it was, obviously we know, it's a family show, what are they going to say? But my point is that it just felt real, the writing, it didn't feel like it was forced at all. It just felt natural. The voice actors, the writing, everything felt natural about those scenes, which was funny. Even Steven coming in, and when he just said, I forgot what he had said, but then it was pun intended. It was what did I just tell you?
Oh, no.
Because it was Ruby, stop being cute. And then she was pun intended?
Yeah. What did I just tell you? And just snapping his fingers. I'm that's perfect.
Yeah. So I really do love that. When they fused, I think I loved it so much. I was so mad at it, but I loved it because Garnet was this is now a problem.
Mhm.
What I also enjoy is being able to see Garnet's future vision in action. We haven't seen it in a while, in my opinion. Seeing it in action and having us really solidify, even though we've heard it before, but solidify, yes, Garnet can see into the future all of these different visions. So in her head, she's like, no, of course Steven's going to live, right, like in the 6th episode, Steven floats, but of course he comes down hitting a little bit harder than she thought, because she's like, oh, in the reality that I see, it's good to see that it's fallible, because, again, we were worried when she...
Absolutely
when we
hilarious, by the way.
It was funny, but it was also a good thing to see, because when we first had this power introduced, and even the second time we saw it, when she said, oh, no, it sees multiple branches, we still thought that it was a bit more infallible, even then. We were very worried about the idea of her being a God mode kind of character. But really, again, seeing it over and over and over again, especially in these last few episodes, you can see, no, she really doesn't know what's going to happen, sadly. So you'll have Sapphire saying, oh, no, we don't have to fight, because she can see other outcomes. But, again, because of her own, what she did, it's oh, darn, Garnet had to be in the... you know what I mean? Eventually it could have potentially turned into a fight, but then it didn't, right, because of Steven. It was oh, I remember it was when Sapphire said, I saw this as one of the outcomes, but I really did not expect it to happen. Like
and
playing
I'm
baseball.
just so happy it did, because they played a baseball game. For those
and they
of you who
explained the
don't follow
rules
me
very
as
well.
a human being, I like baseball. I don't think this is made clear on across all of our dimensions of podcasting. I'm sure the wrestling people have heard it, but I like baseball a lot.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to
funny,
write articles about the Mets and other Mets games and Mets things.
And then worked at the field for the entirety of the last 6 months or so. But
yes, so that too.
That happened. And
yes,
then, we're completely skipping over Barnmates, which is funny, because that was relatively...
I'm not.
No, I mean, not like
I want
to choose to skip over, but I mean, like, we've been sitting here without talking about what is an interesting episode.
You know what? No, now we're skipping it. Now that you brought it up, now we're skipping it.
We're not.
I
can't even take that as a joke, because I know that you're not going to skip an episode live.
I like the cut of your jib, Tish Ram. These episodes are making me love Peridot more and more, and making me understand that, like, she was just on the other side. That's all it really was, right? She was just on the opposing team. That's it. She was with Homeworld. She wasn't evil. She wasn't the worst. She was just following orders. And, like, it's so cool to see her now. And, heck, actually trying to connect with Lapis. And it was so interesting because, yes, we were talking about, I think it was last podcast, but I think it was literally last episode, as in Steven Universe episode. We were talking about how Lapis is an introvert. And she doesn't really, connect well. And apparently, according to their backstory now, Peridot's the reason why Lapis was even on Earth in the first place. So to Lapis, it's like, you suck. You're a horrible person.
There was a lot of anger there.
Yeah, but it's crazy because, again, it's funny. It's been thousands of years for both of them, just a bit different in the thousands, like in how the thousands were experienced. So for Peridot, it's so easy to say, just forgive me, and for Lapis, it clearly isn't. But at the same time, though, there's so much depth there because, in my opinion, Lapis goes too far in her own way.
Which is what Steve realizes at the end, too.
Doesn't make it excusable. Because up until the point when she crossed the tape recorder, it was bad. It kind of, it could make you go, oh, come on. But, again, you have to realize what Lapis had went through. But when she crushes the tape recorder, I mean, again, like, it literally, you just have Peridot trying to give her something and truly say, this means something to me. And you just have Lapis saying, no, don't give me your trash. And I was so confused because I was like, but that's not someone's favorite anime, but she still crushed it either way.
Yeah, and it's really painful because basically Peridot was saying, like, this was my therapy because I was screwed up, from what was going on too. Like, this was hard for me too. And so it's like, here, this is my means of therapy. Like someone showing you, like, their favorite band or something, and you're like, yeah, they're garbage, without even listening. Like, it just really, it hit hard, because it's like, this is my therapy, and it's like, yeah, that's trash, and it's your trash, so I really don't want it. And destroying it, too. Not even giving it back, but actually destroying her tape recorder. And you've seen over the last few episodes and overall, just Peridot got really attached to that thing. Yeah,
it hurt a lot. And I say that because, just Steven's reaction and the way what he said. I talk about the show being real a bit too much, and it's so funny because, everything surrounding it, I mean, crystal gems and, just space creatures and all this stuff, right? And you sit there and you're just like, well, this isn't real. I mean, maybe if you, listen to Alex Jones a little bit, but most of the time it's not real, right? But you kind of just, have these real situations and this real dialogue, and you're like, wow, like that actually connects, that's real. So what Steven said, like, oh, and now she'll never come back. Yes, of course it's a joke. She had to immediately run back. And of course it set up the episode, the next one very well, and it set up the end very well. But my point is that in real life, kids, I don't know why you're listening if you're a kid, please don't listen, but teens, young adults, or adults, remember, that's kind of what happens. You push someone away that much, unless they're a family member, and heck, even then, it's like, unless they have some huge emotional attachment to you, or, you live together, like, there are certain circumstances, but normally they're going to go away and they're not coming back. So when Steven said that, even though it was followed up with a really funny joke, it was serious. It was some real shit.
Yeah, no, and it is followed up with the whole situation in terms of, like, this is Steven is the difference maker. That's what it is. Steven is the difference maker in this whole thing. And that's really important to me in that sense, because it subtly kind of fulfills this is why Steven's important, this is why Steven's great thing. But, that's pretty cool. Because you're right, it could have just as easily been the end of that relationship. And this is a kid show, and they want to promote good feelings, so it isn't.
Yes. And also I want to mention, I don't know if any more gems will end up joining the Crystal Gems, but it is a very good point to mention that if Steven wasn't around, so let's say Rose Quartz was never with Greg, and Steven wasn't around, that would mean that the cluster would be going off right now, and we would have Rose, we would have Amethyst, and we would have Pearl, and we would have Garnet, but that's it. So what would happen? Like, maybe we'd have Jasper come down with, with Peridot, but what would happen then? We would just have another fight, maybe a potentially destroyed Jasper, which would be pretty chill, but we would still have Lapis be, part of that mirror. I don't know how they would have in any way been able to get Peridot to help them. And even then, would Rose have thought to bubble every single one of the like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, like you said, Steven being the difference maker, and even last episode I was saying, Steven, I love how he has this Goku presence about him to bring everyone together and turn people who, were part of the quote-unquote bad side, the opposite side, to come join them on their team and be friends. I feel like with Steven here, he's really the one that's bringing all these people together. And again, I don't know how many more might join them. I really doubt that someone like Jasper, unless Homeworld disowns Jasper, I see no reason for Jasper to ever work with them. But still, it's very interesting to see who else can join the team, right? Because right now, they have, minus Steven, they have, 5 of them? Yeah, minus Steven. With Steven, that's 6. They have 6 people on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did I count right? Or am I counting Ruby and Sapphire separately, damn it? Oh, no, I'm a Ruby.
No, you're okay. The 4 main Crystal Gems, Peridot, and Lapis.
Okay. I know for a split second, because I saw Ruby and Sapphire separately, I thought, oh, no, did I do something wrong? By the way, I not only do I love the 2 of them hitting on each other, I believe one of the Rubies was subtly trying to hit on Lapis, and Lapis was giving, she wanted none of it. You
mean Bob?
I'm sorry, you're right, Bob, yes. I love it.
Lapis's intense apathy towards the entire situation was enough to kill me every single time.
Yep.
I just loved it. Amethyst was like Amy or something. Pearl was Earl, I think.
Mhm.
Sapphire was Sophie. I love that so much. It was like Steven, Amy, Earl, Bob, Sophie. Bob, really? And then it's like, all right, our team is the Ruby team, consisting of Ruby, 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 Ruby. And I was like, my fucking God. I love this show.
Oh, man, it was a lot of fun. And the reason why I might mention, some people might go, well, why do you say anime, right? Why is it anime the first thing? Is it just because this is animated? Yes, people might say, well, we know that the creators are fans of anime, but why anime compared to everything else that it could be, right? The scene where Sapphire, or Sophie, hit the ball, the flaming ball, turning the that's the thing. Turning the bat to ice, that's, new to the show, right? The show did that. That's new. But the flaming ball, just that exact way, that's been done countless times at this point, both in video games, Super Mario Strikers, and in other anime as well. So that's why, like, you kind of sit there and you can't really deny any of these references. Not that I'm trying to sit there and be like, everything is a reference ever. Like, I don't like doing that. I feel like that's weird when everyone's like, when she said I love you, that's actually reminiscent of the 1975 show. Like, I don't really like doing that. But, clearly, there's certain things in this episode that are definitely calls to anime. I mean, not just that. Of course, I didn't even realize when all the rubies found out that Garnet was clearly, like, a gem, right? Immediately, just the 5 panels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed that, like, the 5 panel, like, kind of like the Speed Racer Go, kind of mock racer. You see, you know what I mean? Just like in Dragon Ball Z as well. You know what I mean? When it's like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like 5 different views. Yeah. Also, I want to mention, I know we already mentioned the rubies are dumb because that's just what we talk about. But I think it's really crazy how they only have one mission, and they're just like, all right, I guess everything else is okay.
I also
my God.
love the idea of the fact that they had forgotten, some of them had forgotten what they were there for.
Mm-hmm.
Because right when Ruby's like, hey, guys, what are we doing standing around here? The other one was like, what are we doing standing around here? So I'm like, my fucking God.
No, I have to understand. I love that one so much because that was, like, I know we make jokes about all of them being dumb, but that was literally the dumb one. And it's great because it helped Ruby, like our Ruby, blend in so well. Because there was a chance that our Ruby was going to just be found out immediately. But by Ruby going, come on, what are we doing? You know what we're doing. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no.
I love later on they made another, well, maybe we'll double check because you know what happened last time. What happened last time? Oh, you. As if, like, they knew that specific Ruby caused the problem last time. It's like, guys, she's not even part of the team. What are we doing?
I didn't think of it like that. I thought it was an OU, like, how can you be so forgetful? As if it's like, yes, because apparently this Ruby's been traveling with you forever.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm just... No.
Yes. But one thing I also want to say is... I love the Ruby with the eye patch, i.e., the Ruby in his eye, or their eye.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked like an eye patch, and it was really cool. I was like, that's... Overall, these last 3 episodes show you, like... Well, even the 3 before it, really, they're starting to be able to get the freedom to get away with a lot. And I know when shows start doing better, they kind of just get that freedom anyway. But I'm very shocked. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, looking at Stephen Floats, the fact that they showed his bones and they were like, and then I'm going to die. I was like, I know he sounds like a kid that's exaggerating, but Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been a while since I've watched a show that I'm like, yeah, no, like, children can also watch this. And literally bones are falling out of the sky with a skull that says, no. Like, I was kind of sitting back like, dear God. But yeah, so jumping back to Barnmates, just before we move on to the last episode, because I think we've talked about Hit the Diamond enough. Yeah,
I
actually
have one more thing to say about that when we get there.
Oh, okay then. So for Barnmates, I just really enjoy that, we got more Lapis and both Lapis and Peridot, and I can't wait to see what more is going to come from them because clearly we started that relationship. We started, talking about that, like the show did rather. But it didn't really expand upon that in these next 2 episodes because they were somewhat fillery, somewhat.
Yeah.
But, yes. Anything you want to say about Barnmates before we move on to Hit the Diamond because you have something to say about Hit the Diamond?
Maybe I should give her my Camp Pining Hearts DVD. Which season? 5. That's trash. I know!
I actually thought that she was going to give her the DVD, or one of them at first, or the VHS, because I think it was a VHS the first time. She watched it. I was thinking that was going to happen, but apparently it had to go to that dang tape recorder. But anything you want to say about Hit the Diamond then?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to say, and this is the actual only point I need to make outside of all the baseball jokes. So we talked a little bit about Homeworld's very backwards views on like gems and like the hierarchy in a caste system that might go.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's really interesting about that is you see, or I guess what's sad about it to me is that when you look at the fact that we had 5 different rubies come in, and if you count Sapphire's ruby, that's 6, right? With differing personalities. It's sad because this was already discussed, but these rubies are basically looked at as replaceable soldiers, the same as pearls were. But clearly, even if they were all manufactured the same way, they have distinct personalities. Which sort of makes what Homeworld is doing even more upsetting, because you sit there and you're like, wow, these are 6 different rubies who were all assigned the same thing, all supposed to do the same exact thing, but they're clearly different people. And
the first 3 rubies we saw, like in the flashback, seemed similar. But now in seeing these rubies, it just gets, you're right, it gets a lot more sad, thinking like, wow, they're quote-unquote real people as their gems. You know, it is sad, you're right.
Yeah,
so thank you for setting up the place.
No, but you think about something like Pearl, too, you know? Pearl is clearly more capable than what they thought she was going to be. And that's really interesting because Pearl taught us, you know, they talked about this a couple episodes back. I think this was towards the end of season 2, when Peridot was getting used to the idea of, like, being with them. And she called Pearl, like, oh, her Pearl. Like, Peridot having a Pearl and stuff like that. And so at the end of the episode, Steven gave that whole little speech, like, no, if pearls are supposed to be common, then Pearl isn't common at all. She taught herself to be an engineer. She taught herself all this stuff. So it's not even like there's a cap. Like, it's not even like, as much as we're making jokes, like all rubies are only like a certain level of intelligence.
No,
you know?
Because you look at Sapphire's ruby.
Right, exactly. And it's like, wow, that is incredibly depressing to think, like, that's what Homeworld thinks, though. If you're a ruby, that's all you are. You're a replaceable soldier.
Oh, so what you're saying is that a ruby could become a Jasper, arguably, like in rank, but they don't allow that to happen. So
correct, because you'll only be a ruby.
Mm-hmm.
So they put a cap on.
Well, I hope you all have a good night, because now my night's ruined. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Satish.
Boom.
Well, before I crawl up in the fetal position, let's talk about Steven Floats. So, again, this was another episode that I think was just one of those weird episodes where you feel like it's filler, but then in your heart you know that it's like, but guys, they showed his powers, technically his new powers that Rose used to have. So you kind of sit back and you're like, this isn't filler, but it's not the cluster. You know what I mean? And I think it's just rough because when we were watching them a lot more frequently, I would kind of defend these episodes a lot more. But I think now that I know that we're behind and the fact that we had such good episodes with the cluster, you kind of sit back and you're like, yeah, I know this matters, but damn, right? You're like, I want something a little bit different. So it's a little rough. I hope I can get back into the groove of things and appreciate these episodes a little bit more, because right now I'm just thinking more about, other aspects of what's going on on planet Earth and in the universe. What I do like, though, is I like that they went back to the temple, because it's been a while.
It's been a long time. How long? Oh, the cake is still here. That was a cake?
Apparently that long. So, also, if anyone realizes, well, it is a fridge, yes. The place doesn't have, AC, so it still was technically hot in the surrounding area. I know it wasn't a fridge, though, to be fair. But, still, it's not like it's a nice, chill place minus the fridge. So it's just like, good God, how long was that cake fucking in there? And how warm was it in general? Also, by the way, the donut place. I think it was really nice seeing Sadie's voice actress again, and just Sadie overall, because it's interesting they didn't get Lars for this one, but still, it was a lot of fun getting Sadie, because it's been a while. We haven't been to Beach City in a while. We've just been at the barn, and it didn't really hit me until it's like, oh, the temple, and I'm like, right.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, it's been a while. But yeah, I'm finally happy that Steven understood his powers, because I think you and I knew, or at least I thought they knew,
Yeah.
I guess they did, that it was based on happiness. But at least with the shield, I think it's because they went from, oh, the shield, oh, it because of happiness. Oh, no, it's your willingness to protect. And then they kind of like tried to use that for the shield. But when it comes to at least his powers on floating, whatever, it does change with his mood.
Right.
So I think it's interesting. No, because like originally it felt like, oh, I eat the cookie cat, and that makes me so happy. And then I made, yes, exactly. See what I mean? So like there was that originally. He left his planet behind. So there was that originally. Oh my God, I can't now. Cookie cat's gonna be stuck in my head for the next week.
Cookie cat.
So now available in the. I forgot where it was, and they were like, "Oh, wow."
Mhm.
And then later on in the fucking series, Uncle Grandpa, I was there too.
And he was in the fucking promo on the bottom.
It's canon, everyone. He made the shield there. Anyway,
yeah.
I love the random dog. Apparently, there's just a random dog. Also, by the way, Garnet stole that phone from one of the people that works at the pizza place.
Kofi.
I believe the one that owns the pizza place. Yes.
Yeah. I love that so much, by the way. I have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Whose? It doesn't matter.
And then Steven's phone is ringing.
And I'm like, my fucking God. And I love how he picks up without, like, thinking of the situation. Like, why is Kofi calling? Like, no, let's pick up. Hello? Like,
yeah.
But
overall, I think it's crazy that Steven can control his powers now somewhat, because now he has the power, arguably, to float. Not fly, but float.
By the way, I love it. I love how you put in somewhat, because in my head I can just picture him falling face flat onto the beach. And I'm like, he can control his powers.
It wasn't that. It's when he went Finn Balor in the donut shop.
Yeah, and then he said, oh, bother.
Yes, that's exactly what Balor said. Honestly, I imagine Balor going completely Winnie the Pooh on that.
For the record, what Matt is referencing is a wrestler
I know,
who,
I was going to.
Yeah, has a top rope finishing move where he has to jump off the edge of the ring, and he did it in a very small gym-type place and hit his head on the ceiling tile and displaced the ceiling tile mid-jump.
Yeah. Yes, because the promotion...
It's funnier than it seems because he's okay. He's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny.
Oh, he was just fine. No, yeah, it's a subdivision of WWE, if anyone remembers WWE, of course. So they were traveling, the subdivision was traveling around, and they were in, like, a gymnasium or, like, a bingo hall. I think they were in a bingo hall, actually. And so when Finn Balor jumped, also known as, if anyone watches, outside and just hasn't watched WWE, Prince Devitt, right, that guy. So he jumped, and he hit his head. But, again, very briefly before hitting the move, and you just saw a picture of the tile before and after, and you're like, my God. So Steven just goes full Finn Balor jumping up. I'm like, no, Steven. But, by the way, if you didn't realize, the, the donut shop got an A rating. So that's nice.
I thought it was a B.
Well, it's an A now.
I thought it was a B. I swear to God.
No, it may have used to, but yeah, it's been a while. But now it's an A because I just saw it.
I gotta go back.
I literally just saw it.
I believe you.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's above the door. It shouldn't be that high, to be fair.
Oh, that's funny because I remember seeing it towards the left of the building, and there's a B there.
Now I have to do this.
Go for it.
Yeah, there's a.
As I talk about the baseball
B-looking,
reference.
There's a B-looking substance, but it's not the B that they got on their
rating. Yeah.
No,
I saw
the rating
that,
is above the door.
That was the rating, which is funny.
No. Also, they have free Wi-Fi.
That's good. Good for them, and the animators for putting in that fucking little things. But
they have a donut hamburger.
Yeah, it looked like one of those Dunkin' Donuts type things.
That's probably why they did it.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? But
yeah.
Oh, the baseball reference I alluded to way earlier that also breaks my heart.
Way earlier.
I think I've told you this story, but in the early 2000s, baseball pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Randy Johnson, threw a fastball that hit a bird. And the bird basically got obliterated because Randy Johnson threw 100 miles an hour.
Oh, my
And
God, that was the reference. Oh, my
it turned into a puff of feathers, and the bird apparently, the body still existed, but just feathers just exploded. So when Amethyst is trying to fucking throw the thing up and hits the bird and it explodes, I cringed because I was like, no, not again. Because some people have looked at it like, wow, what a fastball. And I'm like, he obliterated a bird. Like on live television, that hurts my feelings. I know I'm not kind of like, it's a level of stupid to be like that involved in it, but he obliterated a bird. And so
the bird was fine.
And so the bird died on the spot. And so
I'm sure. Walk it off. Give it a
so
Z-pack.
Amethyst doing that, I was so mad because I'm like, we just had the baseball episode, you pricks. Like someone in there, like the storyboarder for the baseball episode was still on for this one. And was like, can I put in this joke that I didn't get to put in Hit the Diamond? Fine, nobody's going to get it anyway. It's funny. And then the baseball fans are sitting there like, no, you were going to put that in the last episode and you didn't. And now you obliterated a bird for fun, you pricks.
They obliterated a bird for fun. Dear God.
For the record, if anyone wants to see the video and reference, just look up Randy Johnson fastball and bird, and you'll find it as the bird explodes. Literally, the thing, it's just, bird is there, and then suddenly a puff of feathers. It's it's really, really hard to watch as somebody who has seen the clip about 50 times.
This is... Oh, okay, so it's that hard, huh? You can't see it the 51st. Okay, so I think we're going to end the show here today. I think this is what we're going to do. I don't know what else to say to you, man. After that, I don't know what else.
You're going to look up the goddamn video, aren't you?
I've already seen it.
Okay. So I did tell you.
You've shown it to me. That's what I said. Oh, God, it's that reference.
Number 30. That was number 38 or 39, yeah.
Probably, yes. My God. So anything you want to say about this episode, Stephen Floats, and the relevance and what we can see later on in the series before we just cut this whole thing off? And just cut our losses?
Garnet getting an exclamation point above her head made me really happy because she was essentially a video game character. That was a really golden moment for me.
About her what?
She got an exclamation point above her head and, destroyed Stephen in Checkers.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Overall, these episodes were fun, and I'm not going to go against that at all. It's just that, I mentioned from what we've had recently, it just feels different. I got to get back into the groove of Steven Universe filler.
Mm-hmm.
Quote-unquote filler, right? Because, again, things happened, but, But yeah, so thank you all for listening in, as always. This was a heck of a lot of fun, as always. And remember that you can get our merchandise on our main website, thoseguysintheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise. I mentioned our Those Guys Play YouTube channel and the fact that we're doing Halloween releases all this month on our Those Guys Play YouTube channel. Search it up by searching up Those Guys Play. We have another series called Matt Beats Games from His Childhood on that same channel where I am Matt and I'm beating games from my childhood. And guess what, Satish? Did you know that we have a new series on that channel?
I'm listening.
It's called Matt Beats Games.
Really? But I thought that's
yes.
not forever.
What? No, that's Matt Beats Games from His Childhood. Matt Beats Games from His Childhood is me beating games from my childhood. Games that I actually did play from my childhood. I'm not even kidding.
So let me get this straight.
No.
You're now coming out with a sequel to the series called Matt Beats Games.
No, spin-off. Yes.
Oh, spin-off.
Spin-off.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not a reboot.
No, not a, dear God, no.
Are you just one of those people who's afraid to say reboot? Because I think you are. I think you're just afraid to call it a reboot. So I'm going to call it the way I see it. So Matt,
it can't be a reboot if one series is already still going. You can't call it a reboot.
So Matt's rebooting his YouTube series, coming out with a series called Matt Beats Games, which, as you can notice by us talking about it, does not have the From His Childhood part in it. So Matt is, if we are following this correctly, beating games that aren't from a Shouted.
Correct.
That's a nice review.
Very, very correct.
Continue,
Yes.
please. Tell them more
Okay.
about our YouTube
No.
channel and other social
Yes.
medias.
Oh, speaking of other social medias, I mean, we have ourselves, our main website, which I already mentioned, thoseguysintheradio.tumblr.com. We have our Facebook, which is /thoseguysintheradio, our Twitter, which is @thoseguysradio, and our Instagram, which is also /thoseguysintheradio. Also, we mentioned our podcast that you can find on our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio. Search that up to find that. And, of course, you're listening to our Blog Talk Radio right now, I would assume, which is Those Guys on the Radio. Or you could be listening to us through iTunes by just searching up Those Guys and downloading those episodes. So there are plenty of different ways that you can listen to us, our podcast, and there's plenty of ways you can watch our YouTube videos. Also, our YouTube channel, TG Productions, which has our dang it, Satish. No, Satish, why did you clear your throat? Now everything's gone and ruined. We have our YouTube channel, TG Productions, where we have our show TG News on there, which is nerd news with a funny, joking twist. Sorry about that outburst, Satish Ram. And we also have ourselves a Patreon account called TG Productions, where a lot of cool things are, you can get through our TG Productions account. You could actually, depending on what you donate, depending on what tier you donate, you could actually suggest, basically demand really, suggest a podcast for us to do, be it a specific topic or be it an actual episode, right? So anything we can podcast on, whatever you might dictate. We can also play certain video games, which are very, very fun, especially because you can tell us, oh, play this game with this host, and we'll try to work with you and see if we can do just that. And depending on what tier you donate to, we can actually give you a shout-out. You can be a sponsor for either our podcast, Let's Plays, or our TG News show. And that's that. That's a wrap, folks. Sorry about that outburst, Satish. I love you.
What outburst?
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to say I loved you while the screen faded to black. So.
That's okay. You can do it again.
Okay.
We'll refilm that.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yes, we're not filming this at all right now, but thank you. All right, then. So thank you all for listening, as always, and say goodnight, Satish.
I love you. Wait, shit.